Welcome to the Patriot Hour. I'm Michael, your host for April 16th, 2018. We're going to look for any new Qanon, Q clearance updates. Probably not, because we just did a video on it. Other than that, we got some Donald J. Trump tweets to go over and a few other things. So stick around and we'll get right into it.
You know what letter that is, Grover?
I think so.
What letter is this?
Q.
Q. This is indeed a Q.
Hey, Froggy.
Okay, here we're back in the studio. And we got Scott still with us.
Still here.
All right.
Tweets, Donald J. Trump. Lots of names in these tweets that I love to go over. Lots going on.
Yeah, let's read this one here. Go ahead.
So Don tweets at 5:25 this morning, early riser. Comey drafted the crooked Hillary exoneration long before he talked to her, lied in Congress to Senator G., then based his decisions on her poll numbers. Disgruntled, he, McCabe, and others committed many crimes. Wow.
What do you think on that?
Well, I was just watching a little bit last night. I think it was last night. Didn't Comey do his interview? The part that I found interesting is that Comey, long before Hillary's investigation or all the whatnot was done, he pretty much did exonerate her. Oh, there's nothing to see here. There's no crimes being made. And mainstream media just jumped all over that, and a lot of people I know jumped, oh yeah, she's innocent. Let's get back to talking about Trump and Russia. I'm like, what? Wow.
Well, we know that Comey said in that meeting with Trump that he, I don't know, wanted to know if he was not trustworthy, but I can't remember the word he used. And Comey took it to be like, but Trump wanted something out of him, and Comey had testified that he took it that way, but he didn't act on it. He didn't do it that way. But then we know that he went to Loretta Lynch.
Yes.
And used a word, and she goes, well, we're not going to be using that word. Can we change that word to be this word?
Yeah, soften it
And
up.
Comey took that as well, kind of like he said he did from Trump, but we know that Comey did do it that way that she wanted.
Yep.
So
it's not strange.
Wordage.
Yeah, it's not strange to me that when Comey was talking about the information, when he got the information that the FISA court and the dossier was paid for
DNC.
by Trump's opponents. And then they asked him in that interview on live TV, and the interviewer says, "Didn't you think that Trump was privy to that information?" Well, no, I don't. Not necessarily in that sense. And the guy asked him again. He says, "You don't think that Trump would have needed or wanted to know that his opponents were paying for this?" No, what Trump needed to know that it actually was out there and it existed. And I'm sitting there thinking, this guy is constantly proving to those that are open-minded and actually have a brain that he is covering up for Hillary. I mean, we're talking about what Trump has done for what? What'd you say, 14, 16, 17 months now?
Yeah.
You know, the Russian... come on, if they had anything at all...
it would have leaked.
It would have leaked. Kind of like Hillary. So much little or more time was invested in researching her wrongdoings, and they found a bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it just kind of went to the wayside.
Yep. You hit it on the head. That interview last night, other than that, blowing my mind, that George Stephanopoulos or whatever. Stephanopoulos. You didn't think Trump needed to know that about, the opponents? And, it wasn't up to me to tell him. I just was there to tell him this. And the other thing he got into was about his wife, Comey's daughter, and his wife being hurt, and just they cried and they were blown away that Trump won, and that it was like, well, why? And he's like, well, because there's this dishonest guy that shouldn't be president. And it's like, well, why shouldn't he be president? Well, he's untruthful and a liar. And
right.
They're crying over that, and you're their husband, the dad of this daughter, the husband of this wife that was all upset in your own personal family.
How did they
you
know
investigated
that?
a lady that was untruthful and a liar and been proven and not, we all know that. So I don't understand.
What point was he making? But you would rather not have Trump and Hillary when the whole world, the whole country knows there's something really nasty about all this.
Yeah, you just investigated and admitted that she did all these things wrong.
Right,
but
even people people that don't follow along. Actually, you heard a lot of them. They get interviewed with the InfoWorlds or whoever, just walking the street, street talk mic. They'd be like, "What do you think of Hillary?" Well, from my understanding, she's a crook, and yada yada, going on and on. But the most interesting part about that is why would his child and his wife be upset about Trump supposedly being untrustworthy or dishonest? How would they know that?
Yeah.
They don't hang out with Trump. So he must be coming home eating dinner. Don't vote for him. Yeah. Or this is what I want you to know about him,
No, this is just what they saw during the, ramp up while he was running and what was coming out, I guess. And yeah, I mean, wow.
Seems like they were programmed and
if
watching.
you were hearing all the bad stuff on Trump during the election process, you were hearing the same on Hillary. So
and I know
how did they come to a great conclusion?
You have kids and I have kids. Everybody out there, probably has kids, or at least people around them that, my kids were like, Dad, why this or why that? Why do you think this? And we would have open debates and conversations. And as our followers know, a lot of times I like to play devil's advocate. But it's not very difficult, and it doesn't take me very long to orchestrate or explain to a child, if I'm asked, why I believe that Hillary was going to be a bad president, and or what led up to people believing that Hillary was so-called crooked or whatnot. So Comey, I'm upset that he's using this time, his book, it's like he is in a position that he could have had some good credibility leaving the office. Of course, he was fired. But the way he's going about all this, there's an agenda here. And covering up Hillary and trying to make Trump to be some kind of villain. Listen, dude, you had all this time to prove to us that he was a villain. So just say it. If you have information, just say. There is nothing that you can say.
No, exactly. And I don't even know if he should be writing that book or be allowed to. It's an ongoing investigation.
Yep.
That he's sitting here privy information. He got fired for something, and then he runs and writes a book, and it's talking about Trump, talking about Hillary, and they're still ongoing. I thought it was something. I don't know about the Hillary part, but the Trump is. So
I haven't read the book. I probably should.
It comes out
read
tomorrow.
The book.
It's not even out. All these people got it like early, advanced, copies. Promoter.
These people,
these those, people, they, who.
I don't know that I would want to read it. I probably should, so it can give me some good talking points, or I could be up to speed as far as what he has said already. But my take on Comey is, wow, man, you had an opportunity to do the right thing, and then there's going to be people. Well, Scott, maybe he is doing the right thing. Maybe Trump is a villain. Well, then say it already. You've had all this time. Just say it. But then again, going back to what Trump was kind of upset about in one of his tweets is, right here, he exonerated her long before it was all over. You know?
Well, they found
there's nothing
that
to see here.
They found that memo after they let him go, like on one of the computers in the office. Typed up, drafted, all done, like months before he ever even interviewed her.
Yeah.
And it was all giving that talking points, and we have not, you blah 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 blah. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
So what the heck? All right, go ahead and read this next one.
Oh, man, you had something pop up in front of me. Oh, there it is. Russia and China are playing the currency devaluation game as the U.S. keeps raising interest rates. Not acceptable.
Wow, that goes back to a Q post even.
Yeah, what was it, 25/100%? Which, if what we're interpreting is 0.25%, I'm not sure I'm worried about 0.25%, but I don't know. Economics is not one of my strong points, but
okay, there's the Donald J. Trump tweet.
That was the one. Yeah, there was the tweet with the Q post. So I don't know how to really comment on this. I understand that he is trying to, his people that oppose him and hate him say, we don't need this war, this economic war with China. But if he's really trying to do the right thing, doesn't it make sense that Russia and China is going to try to make him look bad? And that brings up another topic of all those out there that said that Trump was colluding with Putin and Russia. There's a lot of things that have been going on the last couple of weeks that pretty much puts that to bed, bombing Syria and telling Russia, we're bombing them anyway, and then having this so-called economic war, and now these suggestions of, Russia and China getting together and devaluing the American dollar. Do y'all still believe that Trump and Putin are best friends? I mean, or the haters out there going to spin this and be like, oh, it's just all smoke and mirrors. So, again, I don't think I can prove to anybody differently once they hate Trump. They're just going to hate him. But I don't know. The Russia-China economic war. Here, listen, man, I'm glad Trump is in office. I mean, he's a businessman. If there's anybody that can ride the storm and get us through this, I feel like he would be the guy that I would want in charge. He's not an idiot when it comes to business, and you can try to say, well, he's filed bankruptcy a couple of times. Well, he's got 300 some businesses that he's been successful on, so he's got a 99.9% batting average, so that's pretty good. He's doing better than me, I know that. What's your take on it? I don't have much on the China-Russia thing. I'm more upset about the Comey thing right now, and that's what seems to be What's your thoughts on Comey? I mean, how did you take his posturing through that interview?
It's definitely I take it he's a guilty man, and it's his last ditch effort. That's what I'm taking it as. I know he
selling a book.
I think he got brought in by the wrong people, and for something very little, and then it ended up escalating, and he ended up doing more than he ever planned on, and it fell apart. Hillary needed to win this for everything, down to the tarmac meeting. These certain people, McCabe, Comey, they all changed wording, did things out of the realm that they shouldn't have, and it was all going to be fine as long as this one person, the one last key part of the puzzle, which screwed them all of them.
I'm with you. It seems like most of them were still from the last regime.
Whoops. But yeah.
Let's see. Let's read some of these comments. Maybe.
But man, they're just so dumb. Like, so real quick, the last one that you just read, you talk about China and Russia, and then all you get tweets on are now they're changing. But yeah, let's go ahead and read a few.
Not acceptable. Your weird exclamations at the end of all your tweets are idiotic. You prove to the world with each and every tweet how much you are in over your head. How completely clueless you really are. Well, forever logic. That's some good Monday morning quarterbacking. But you got any answers? I mean,
this guy, he just seems to be way out of focus and tune, because actually lots of, and I'll put this out there, like Q even said, and I've been definitely thinking and kind of going back the last few weeks, but Trump's never really lied in a tweet. He comes out, and then you got the mainstream, like we even talked about with, was it Comey, or when he first tweeted that, how about, I just found out the Obama administration was spying on me and some of my campaign team. And everyone came out, oh my God, that's such a lie. That never would have happened. They never would have done that. Yeah. And now we know it's all true.
Yeah. The firefighter down the street from me might have said that. And I'm like, really? Was you sitting in D.C.? How do you know? Well, news media said it never happened. Oh, I see. So you tuned in to a CNN or an ABC, whoever, and they told you, no, that's a lie. So you swear by that.
And they've never come back out and unsaid that they were wrong. They've just spun it all along the way.
And that seems to be the hypocrisy of this. I mean, maybe it's always happened in politics. I don't know. I doubt it. Maybe. But so their points are matter of fact and absolute, right?
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, you're idiotic. Well, why? Well, CNN said that. And anything that Trump says, they're going to say he's an idiot, he's this, he's that. And anything that their side says, they're going to swear and bias. So if you just flip that around and ask them, well, maybe Trump's right and you're wrong. No, there's no way I'm wrong. I get my source straight from that TV box.
Yeah. Or like, the
I
morning.
Could be wrong.
Trump evidently is president. He's got clearances, he's got privy, he's got things going on, people talking to him, great people, whatever. So if he wakes up at 4 a.m. and he tweets something like that, and then you got that CNN that's kicking on at 6, the guy just came in, hey, did you see Trump tweeted? Yeah, I don't know, my phone went off on the way on my drive in, and look at it. And then he comes and does a show 2 seconds later, it fires off, and he's like, oh, we got Trump's tweet this morning, way out of left field, folks. We have absolutely zero proof. Well, you just came in, you put your tie on, you sat down. Why don't you get up, run around, and start validating and see if there's any truth
reporting.
To it? There you go. That's journalism 101, I think. Instead of sitting there like, well, nothing's falling out of the sky to prove it to me.
He could get on here and tweet, man, I was wrong. I love CNN. And they would spin that somehow. You know what I mean? Yeah. They would say, oh, he's up to something. He's up to something, Yeah. So anyway, let's see if we can find some comments other than Forever Logic. This guy, I don't even want to read that one.
That's another Forever Logic. Looks like he bombs.
Wow.
Bombs them. Damn, was hoping you were going to tell us you were moving to Canada.
Jeez.
So they're not even really, you don't get much.
And yet you fail to discuss the evidence he has placed before you. Are you denying that Trump said those clearly idiotic statements? ? Does nothing Trump say make you take a step back and think, what is this man talking about? Yeah.
This guy looks normal. Comey may be the most dishonorable person in law enforcement history. Comey will forever be a stain on the reputation of the FBI. See, there's a couple of...
Please turn off...
Fox.
I like how they spell it like it's some kind of German language.
Well, no, Fox means fake, like fake wood. Yeah, Fox.
And maybe learn how a real government works. There's got to be some adult left in the White House that can draw you pics on the workings of government. I wonder how much experience she has running a government.
Yeah, and she says Fox. So should we all go to CNN and get enlightened?
So we're going to childhood tactics,
Yeah, nothing they ever say is true or comes true or. Yeah, so...
and they're wrong. That meme right there, and I just did this research, and I'm sorry my brain doesn't always work the way it's supposed to, but I actually was challenged. Not a single Trump product is made in America. That is wrong. Now, he does have products that are made overseas. Everybody has stuff made overseas. This is another reason why he might be one of the most, or the best guy to explain why the trade, is lopsided. But he actually does have things that are made here in the United States. Even the Trump children were made with foreign imports.
Horrible.
So he's got a lot of followers that follow him. So it's one of those, if I was Trump, I'd be okay with that. Hey, bad publicity is good publicity,
I don't feel so bad about our channel having a couple of bad...
Yeah. Bad news is good news, as it's still news.
Why didn't you teach us all mobster criminal stuff in your university? I mean, there are just... Woof.
Jeez.
People are, they actually fight become
That's hilarious.
People are kicking and screaming even as justice and truth is coming all around them. It's like
they may not.
No, we don't want it.
They may. They may not understand or like it, but what they need to do is get over it and realize this man is your president. And so far, your lack of intelligence isn't doing anything but boosting his ratings. I mean, like it or not, there are some polls that have him a lot higher than what Obama was. And then the spinners will say, oh, that's not true. That isn't true. That's fake news. Now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's one of them hypocrisy things, like, because they are saying it. Well, his polls are fake. The ones that are saying, but our polls are true.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Let's not do this. There's credible polls out there that show him having a decent, if not higher rating than Obama did. At the same time, there are credible polls out there showing that people do like him and believe that he's doing what he should be doing. I mean, so far, as far as I'm concerned, he's trying to fulfill and or has fulfilled his campaign promises. But every time he tries to, they spin it around. Liberals reading Trump's tweets. Me reading Trump's tweet.
Good.
Oh, gee.
Trump will be golfing from a minimum security prison.
Really, Rick? Why?
Why, Rick?
Yeah. Did he offend you? Did you wake up with
because he talks funny. Yes, golf course is the ideal place for him. Really ought to retire and dedicate himself full time to the game.
So she was just making fun with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Here's a guy I like. This guy's fun. Trump, make America great again. That's
showed her email. Good stuff there.
Uh-oh. Trump, never give up. Oh, so this is from the same people.
Listening to you, President. publicly on television is nauseating. You're nauseating. You sinner devoted out, the better the U.S. will be.
Jeez. He is an odious creature. Either I'm completely dense or he truly makes no sense. On top of being offensive, the small bonus is the applause sounds spotty and not a massive crowd. Lisa Kelly, you would be dead wrong, because if you ever seen Hillary's, when she was campaigning, they'd have this big auditorium and the cameras were set up just right to show and make it look like it was full, but it was actually 80% empty. And there were people at huge auditoriums and stadiums that couldn't get in to see Trump. And yet, but Julie is, I don't know, eating too much, not meat. She's, I don't want to make fun of vegans, but.
Wait, there's his book.
Great. A leaker and a thinker. So I don't know, I guess these are fun to go over some of these comments. I do it a lot at home. I wonder sometimes, what are people thinking? They would rather see this man fail than just give him a couple more years and see what happens. If you don't like him, try to vote him out. But remember, y'all had that opportunity, and you're still so mad at Trump when really you should be mad at Hillary for stealing your primary, because most of you probably would have voted for Bernie. And I've said this before multiple times on this show and out in the public. I don't like Bernie, but if there was one person in America in the last, say, 18 months I feel got screwed, or in the world more than anybody, it would have been Bernie.
Yeah.
They're so mad at Trump. Why don't you use your anger and say, why did we lose this election to some orange, he's this, he's that? Because you fell for a crook who stole her own election. You see, your own party is so messed up. Instead of admitting that and just moving on and saying, okay, we hate Trump, we don't want him to win the second one, then spend the next 2.5 years making sure your party's fixed.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. So you got this whole group of people that don't like Trump. They're going to continue on, even though he won and the election and the race is over. They're using all these talking points that he colluded, he cheated, the Russia, this, that, but their own party's all guilty of that. There was cheating in the DNC. Hillary, the DNC, cheated Bernie.
Yeah.
Now, they didn't go to the booze and put software in it to where when you hit a button, it cheated it that way.
Right.
But they cheated it in a different manner, but it's cheating. And then you have the dossier that was used towards Trump, paid for by Hillary and the DNC again. So there's and that dossier was written by a Russian, we found out now.
Right.
So there's your Russia collusion, and there's your cheating in the
you're
elections.
right. It did exist, but it was from your party. Yeah,
and they're just completely ignoring that and wanting to.
Where's the outrage?
We want Trump to go down for it, and it's like,
you're that blind, It just blows my mind that instead of just admitting the truth, defeat. You should learn. I tell my kids all the time, you're supposed to lose in life, or you should, because you learn a lot from being knocked down and losing. There's 40, 50 million people out there that they're dragging their feet, kicking and screaming instead of, like I just said, get to the bottom of your own.
Yeah.
If you want to beat Trump, use all this energy and get it right.
Yes.
But I want to see Bernie sit down and do an interview like Comey did.
Yeah.
I'm interested in knowing.
So how do you feel about this and that? It didn't really matter to me at the time. I mean, what's he going to say about it?
Well, they put a gun to my head and said, Bern, don't speak up. I don't know, but I would really like to know what he says, because he got hosed.
Are these people really concerned about Russia's interference, and are they concerned about cheating? And not just that it was Trump that could have done that. Are they concerned about Russia, and they concerned about cheating in the elections, or only if Trump's name's behind it?
Not Trump, a Republican.
A Republican, as long as it's nobody from their own party, even though it's real evident right there, right in their backyard, right in their front yard.
They can do it.
And it's like, we did all that stuff, but our person still didn't win, so therefore they shouldn't be held accountable for the things they did, because they didn't win. It didn't work. It didn't work. Well, that's even dumber.
Yeah, you went in to rob a bank and the alarm went off, so you ran out scared. So you technically didn't rob the bank, so they shouldn't charge you with any of that type of a crime. Although you were waving a gun and whatnot, and there was plenty of witnesses, plenty of proof. Yeah. But I didn't walk out with $1. But you never got any money. Yeah.
Because
then you're not a bank robber. You're just a bank scarer. Or I don't know.
Tried. Yeah, how about that?
It's crazy. I would think that I for one, if I thought that Trump rigged the primary to beat one of the Republicans, and maybe I wanted to vote for one of those other Republicans, and I found out, I would bring that to light here on this show. I'd be saying,
I still think if that all comes out, like you guys wanted Russia collusion and somebody go down, and you wanted the cheating of possibly the polls or the election, here you go. Those of you yelling the loudest this whole time, we found it, and it's actually people from your own party. And it's like they're not going to accept that. No. They would twist that to be, well, this is only because Trump is president that it turned out to be this way.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're right. Because it would have been never talked about if Hillary was in. We'd be moving along. I don't know how much further we'd be with guns being taken or not having them. And
it's like bombing Syria. The liberals said, we got to do something in Syria. We got, there's people he dropped some. I can't believe he just did that. Well, if you don't remember, Trump. He was trying to pull out of Syria.
Yes.
And something or someone caused a mess to where he felt and he got pressured. We got to do something. Innocent people are being killed. I didn't say the Syrians did it, and I didn't say Assad did it. I didn't say the CIA did it.
These bad actors over there that the man with the name that we don't say put over there. So if we're trusting the Q plan and then Trump's tweet, these were precision, good intel, precision strikes with these missiles that took out chemical weapons, stockades, these people, these bad actors that were placed over there to be quiet and hidden and launch things and make it look like it was somebody else.
Sure.
So I don't know.
I don't claim to know either, but when you ask the guy to do something, be presidential. He tries to be presidential. He took his time. He didn't, and everybody, oh man, he's going to hit the red button. He's going to nuclear. Listen, man, he's got North Korea coming to the talking tables. That hasn't ever been. No president has done that. He took his time with Syria. He didn't react right away. We're going to bomb the hell out of it. He took, 3, 4, 5 days? And it was a coalition. So anybody that wants to badmouth Trump, you better badmouth all of our allies because we weren't the only ones firing missiles. But Scott, Trump told them to. Listen, man, Trump does not get to tell United Kingdom or the UN, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. They have a choice, and they chose to join us in this. So, but they won't badmouth those people. That's just another, oh man, he killed innocent people. Well, no, I wasn't standing there. I didn't see the bomb drop, But it's just one of them cases he can't do any right.
No matter what.
And I'm afraid he's not going to do right. And that's politics. You're not going to make everybody happy. But these people, he could literally walk on water, and New York Post will say, well, Trump can't swim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just... It's an exhausting talking point. I would love, I don't even know if I would love to get him in the studio anymore. At some point I was thinking I would really like to debate some of these people. Why do you hate Trump? But I've seen enough of the answer. Well, because he overtans, or he golfs, or he had sex with some of them are miswording it, saying he had sex with a prostitute, and she wasn't, and she said she wasn't assaulted. She was an adult film star. I wasn't in the room. I don't know. I don't care what he says, but whatever happened, it was 11 years ago, and it's not relevant to what's going on today. He didn't do it in the White House with 2 or 3 women. He didn't ask his wife to go and demonize these people and threaten these women and shut them up, and he didn't go to Congress and lie about it on live TV.
Again, it's always, well, that's a long time ago, and he was impeached, but the people didn't care enough to impeach him, or the process of impeached, not impeachment.
Yeah. And again, a lot of people don't know what impeach means. I mean, they think that means you got kicked. No, it's an impeachment process.
Impeachment and then impeached. Yeah. It's 2 different things. But yeah, no, you're right. And this woman back then came out with charges of like rape or, like it wasn't consensual. Assault, right? And she was demonized a whore.
Yeah.
You got one here comes out like it was consensual 11 years ago, and everyone's like, we want to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
There is no bottom of it. Well, he covered it up.
Yeah. Oh, did he?
He paid something. Well, even if you did, it was beforehand. And if you can, hey, I know we had something 11 years ago. Oh, yeah. Here's a little bit of money. Keep your mouth shut because I don't want it coming out. Yeah, no problem. But
then she would be in court for taking money to.
That's what it should end up being. But though
it's a bribe.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna talk unless you give me money. So
her thing was they never signed it. Like he never signed it. But they're like, well, you took the money. That was a contract at that point by you taking the money, not saying you have
to not keep your mouth shut, but not to sell the story.
Yes.
They do it. The reporters do it all the time. Hey, we'll pay you to give you your side of the story. So even if Trump's lawyer supposedly gave her money to keep her from talking, it's not like he put a gun to her head. She went, oh, hell yeah, $130,000. I wasn't planning on talking anyway, but if you need some insurance, okay.
Yeah.
But if the lawyer is wrong for doing so, then she would be wrong too? Or is that just a transaction between two people when both of them said there's no crime here?
Yeah.
If I give you $130,000 not to tell the world what type of beer that I had last Tuesday night, there's no crime there.
No.
I just, I don't get it. I don't know why it's important.
All they got.
But it's that monkey poo we talked about.
It's what they're down to. This is what they're down to. It's
childish.
A Russia collusion that was all BS in the beginning is now gone down to this.
Yeah. What's going to happen next week? I told you the caravan thing coming. They're going to keep throwing stuff at him to get him to crack, and he's just not cracking yet. And the same haters that say, "Oh, he's childish. He tans. He does this. He does that." Do you not realize your comments are just as bad and childish as what you claim he's acting?
Yeah.
So your credibility's shot.
Yeah.
If you can,
I'm not president, and they'll stand behind.
Yeah. Well, good.
You're right. It's good. And again, if this is how the FBI operated, and this is maybe this is what we could expect. Like, well, Trump's kind of lying about this making payment. Now they're going to hit up the Cohen because that's maybe what they're looking for. One of the things to see if there was any paperwork there of Trump saying, go ahead and pay her. Do it from your account, though. And nope, but now we got him lying. But, if that's how they operated, fine. What about Hillary? What about, hey, can we get some of them emails back for when you worked for us? Remember us, the government over here? And, well, give me some time. 8 months went by. She's scrumming around, hammering up. What about going in and busting in doors there for them lawyers and seeing what she knew and what she didn't know and how to...
They went to the right judge and got the right order. It's there's so many judges that can sign off on this stuff. It's kind of like when with the Vice Court, they didn't tell them all the information that judge needed. Shame on that judge, but if that judge would have known that the DNC actually paid for that dossier, he would never have granted the warrants. Yeah. So it's if you find the right judge that is in your political party and or donates to your fundraisers, of course he's going to do you a favor. But somebody needs to find the right judge to go ahead and raid her offices, raid her. Why isn't it happening? What I mean?
Yeah.
So until that happens, I'm always going to say to Trump haters and to CNN and ABC and anybody that tries to bash him, go ahead. But my question is, how come you don't care that your own party screwed you over? The hypocrisy is just, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. You can hate Trump all you want until you can actually sit down and tell me that either A, you're okay with whatever Hillary did, or give me justification or reasoning why you're not upset with her. I don't want to hear any more of it. So that's my take.
I'm going to say the same thing. I would like for these people, if they're going to keep screaming Russia and collusion and cheating of the elections, then again, look at your own party and start doing a little episode on that and how you're moving past that. Well, she didn't win, so we've already moved past it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You have never,
you didn't deal with it.
Never dealt with it.
And by the way, what happened is scary. And
waited till she lost and then have churned it all onto Trump. All your stuff that should have been focused right there has now been focused towards Trump, the wrong person. That we're not finding any evidence that he did any of this.
Right.
So
I don't know. Maybe we'll learn some more in the next couple of days, and we'll have some more to talk about. Maybe some of this will come to head. Maybe somebody in the next couple of hours, a couple of days or weeks will say, you know what, it's time to go after Hillary. Maybe people will start making sense. I hope so. Because until that happens, the credibility with all the other news outlets that are going after him, it's just shot. And maybe this is why mainstream media, MSM, is dying, and why, people like us, not necessarily just us, but everybody out there in the internet world, our ratings are climbing and subscriptions are going up and views are going up. People are just exhausted with the same rhetoric.
I don't blame them. All right. We're the Patriot Hour. We looked for Q updates, nothing. We just did the majority of them, so I'm glad you guys got those. We just want to take a minute here, go over some Trump. Ended up on Comey, ended up on
tweets and
Russia collusion, the real Russia collusion, and
hypocrisy
within the political system is just at an all-time high, I think. So we'll leave it there. We're going to thank on that note, maybe on the next Patriot Hour episode, we'll hit up the hypocrisy a little more within the. Maybe there'll be some more of. Maybe we'll be enlightened a little bit more here.
Some comments. Maybe some of our subscribers.
April showers. Maybe we'll get that tarmac video, and then a lot of people can be enlightened.
Hey, subscribe, ring the bell, give us your comments, and we're gonna keep going.
Patriot Hour. God bless, Godspeed, and good afternoon.
Do you know what letter that is, Grover?
I think so.
What letter is this?
Q.
Q. This is indeed a Q.
Hey, Froggy.